UAlbany head coach Jared Ambrose. And there he is. And we're now pleased to be joined on the call by the head coach at UAlbany, Jared Ambrose. Good morning, Jared.
Good morning, guys.
Good morning. Certainly not the day that you were after on Saturday against Stony Brook, a game that was certainly tight in the first half, but got away from you. A 47-12 loss to Stony Brook. As you've kind of gone back and looked at the tape, just give me impressions on what happened.
Kind of like that old John McKay saying, how do you feel about the execution of your offense? And he said, I'm in agreement with it. We came out of the first half and the second half and on 5 possessions, managed to only run 14 plays and either turn the ball over twice or, first drive out, threw a pick on the second play. And, Stony Brook did a good job. So, you can't play offense like that in any level of football.
With that being said, your defense held up pretty stoutly in the opening half. You only let up 10 points, and then things kind of got away a little bit in the second half. Did you feel like maybe they wore down because of some of the issues you just spoke about on the offensive side?
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, the offense couldn't stay on the field, therefore the defense had to be on the field. And, not to take anything away from Stony Brook's offense. They're a good unit, but we're a beat up organization right now. So when one side of the ball has to play that amount of snaps, you're going to see some cracks in it. And I think it's still a really, really good unit. We just gotta, catch up on the other side of the ball.
Question this morning from Mark Fingelis. Go ahead, Mark. Good morning.
Good morning. Jared, you mentioned your team being beat up. What does your schedule look like this week? How much time do the kids get off to try to rest them when you're going to kind of get back to it?
They're off today. We will practice Tuesday, Wednesday, and Thursday, and they will be off Friday and Saturday. I want them to be able to get away for a little bit, recharge on the weekend before we play Rhode Island, see their family, go see what, a lot of guys, their purpose might be their family or things outside of football. I want them to go experience that. So this week's going to be re-geared into, catching the offense back up and getting healthy.
You said after the game you're going to let practice kind of determine who plays next game. What do you want to see from your kids in practice to tell you that who deserves to play and who's going to be a factor for you guys going forward?
Execution and energy. The 14 plays I mentioned on offense to come out of the second half, we did not execute one single play with 11 guys correctly. So that's got to be handled and adjusted. And quite frankly, I'm going to be unfortunately a lot more involved in that. From the ground up. And there's guys who deserve to take the field for us right now with how they're playing. I'll give you a great example: Cam Stodge-Hill, Sama Kamara, to name 2. So those guys this week, they're going to be, not doing as much as some of the other guys that need to prove their worth.
When you say more involved, what do you mean exactly, Jared?
To this point, I've been game planning and calling plays. I'm actually going to be running meetings again, like I was the old coordinator. So I'm going to be in there on the ground level. I'm going to be, direct oversight of everything that we do. And I'm going to have to, delegate some of my administrative duties to do it. But, the situation we're in, that's what it calls for.
Do you mean on the offensive side of the ball or both?
On the offense, the defensive side of the ball, Billy runs the defense. We meet every morning just to go over things I may have seen, things I can help with, from an offensive perspective and give them, some ideas on how to take some things away. But yeah, offensively, I'm going all the way back to day one.
Great, thank you.
Yep.
Jared, obviously, you touched on extensively here about the offense. Colin obviously had a tough day. Aiden Semo came in and did throw a touchdown pass for you, and you've been without Jack Shields. What is kind of an open competition from here on out?
No, Jack's the guy. When Jack's healthy, it's his ball, it's his mound, it's his team. And I made that very, very clear to Jack the Sunday after the Cornell game, and I made it very clear to the other quarterbacks. Unfortunately, Colin did not see the field well. There were some things we could have dented Stony Brook with Saturday. And I gave him, I told him before last drive, I go, you got to make this one work, pal. And he fumbled the ball on the -2 yard line, which led to another Stony Brook score. So then Aiden came in, and Aiden was seeing the defense, which they brought a corner pressure, led to a touchdown pass. So, those are the things that the quarterbacks here have to be able to handle and do, and we're going to get better at it, I assure you.
How about obviously it was a tough time in the run game, and I know the game dictated some of that, but what did you see kind of some struggles there?
Oh, execution. We had a plan for it, and it was just an inch here and an inch there, a double team here, an eye and a gap here. Not chasing a backer that was scraping. Or in some cases we turn our shoulders to the sideline on an inside run play. So, like I said, those things are going to be rooted out, and it won't happen anymore.
The defense, as we said, there were some bright spots you mentioned to mark a couple of guys that have impressed you with the way they're playing. Some different names: Dylan Donovan, 12 tackles; Troy Berschwinger with 11 in the game. With as banged up as you are on that side, are there going to be some newer guys that are going to have to step up and make plays for you?
Yeah, I mean, naturally, in this football a physical game, it's a long season. New heads pop up every year, and show themselves, sometimes due to, practice habits, sometimes due to injuries, which is unfortunate. But those guys we knew could play. Dunny was our starting Mike at Iowa. And we've always felt that Dunny could play at a real high level. He's a great athlete. He just had a random ankle thing bothering him the last couple of weeks, and Saturday was the first day he could come back. So I see him playing a bigger role as we move forward. There, I don't think there's going to be anybody, off the waiver wire. We got what we got, and but guys are going to have to go earn some of their spots back because it's not just given.
How many you've touched often with Mark and on this call the last couple of weeks with the injury? How hopeful are you to get some guys back on both sides?
I'm going to. I mean, it's not even a hope at this point. It's just a fact. It's a matter of time. We had a guy get a foot sprain on Thursday's last play of practice, and he couldn't play Saturday. He'll be back, and he's been playing at a high level. So, things like that, guys are going to be coming back. It's the perfect time for a bye for us. So it's not as much a hope as it is just a factor of time.
How much work, along with trying to get guys to earn positions, are you going to try to work over this next couple of weeks? Just getting them in the right state of mind, and you've got a lot of season left to go. Still got the second half of the year, and getting them where they need to be.
A ton, and as I told the players Saturday night, and some of the coaches, their state of mind will be mine, and that's it. And I won't accept anything else from this point forward. So they're either going to be all the way into what I'm telling them, or they're not going to be in at all.
Got a follow up for Mark. Go ahead, Mark.
Jared, to have the preseason favorites coming in your next game, how much are you hoping that maybe playing Rhode Island might bring out the best out of your guys to face the best the league has to offer?
Oh, I mean, it's what Saturday's all about, and not to mention, I know he's kind of listening on the call. He is also my favorite head coach in this conference, But they've done such a good job there. This game has been penciled in because it was a battle last year. It always seems like it's a really good battle between us and Rhodey. And if you want to become the team that you desire to be, you got to beat the best team there is out there. And coach is doing a great job. And I know Friday night pissed him off. The Governor's Cup's always a battle as well. But we get to play him at home, and we're going to give him everything we got.
All right, Jerry, thanks so much for the time today, and look forward to talking again next Monday.
All right, guys, thank you.
Flattery gets you nowhere, bro.
I'm trying.
No, hang in there, man. I hear you. I hear you. Keep
Tell
trying.
Willie I said hello.
I'll do it, bud.